If you're building your healthy lifestyle, do you ever get overwhelmed with all the things and then just give it all up? Well, today we're actually talking about how you cannot do that because that will not get you where you want to be, whether that's being simply healthy and sharing with your family, losing weight, feeling better, having more energy. None of those things are going to happen unless you track your progress and make it just a little easier, which is what we're all about here on Simply Healthy Lifestyle. Okay, why is it easy to forget our progress as we're moving through? Well, that happens because you're not celebrating those small wins because you don't see those small wins. In order to see those small wins, you really have to track what you're doing so that you know where you need to make little changes. And then also so that you can celebrate all of those times where you actually hit your goal. So, I'm not talking about tracking what's on the scale, which if you're trying to lose weight, you do need to track your weight because, that's a piece of data and that data tells you something. But what I'm talking about are those little things like how much water you're drinking, what you're eating throughout the day, your mood. If you're doing things for self care, like, read a book or taking time out to do the cross stitch you want to do, the puzzle you want to do, the hike you want to do, whatever lights you up, you need to spend time doing it because that's part of a simply healthy lifestyle. And when we don't reward ourselves with these things, we have neurotransmitters in our brain that make us feel blah and yuck. What we want to do is get those chemicals in our brain to make us feel, wow, yes, woo. We want to celebrate. One of the things that happen is the brain reward system, which is dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins for all of those sciencey, geeky words. They fire when you have a win. And they fire when you mark a checkbox. They fire when you cross something off a list. It's a little fire, but if you focus on that oomph and that drive and you create these healthy habits, it sets you up so that you're reaching your goal. It may not be the huge goal. Remember, I lost 120 pounds. So I had a lot, lot of things to change. And in order to do that, I tackled small, tiny things. I gave up a case of Diet Pepsi a day. I added in water because as I went through, I really focused on the add. What could I add rather than focusing on what I was taking away? Because when we focus on what we can't do, that becomes what our brain wants to do. If we focus on what we get to do, that becomes our new excitement, our new thing. It fires off those happy chemicals in the brain. The dopamine says, yes, you get to do something just by changing that little word. But we're visual. We're not just action based. We're visual, we're action based, and then we listen to those words in our head. So what we do is we track the important things. Drinking water, eating whole foods made with love, we track our mood. You can track sleep. I mean, there are so many things that you can track. And by tracking these things and making those little check marks and then celebrating every single little check mark you make, it increases that motivation to keep going. I always hear, but I don't have the motivation. I have to wait for the motivation. Well, you don't. You don't have to wait for motivation. What you do need to do is build in the motivation. And you build in the motivation by tracking all of the little things that you're doing. For my clients, I actually just created a habit tracker. And I'm going to link to it in the notes down below. But this habit tracker tracks those key 5 elements. Are you doing something for you? Are you drinking water? Are you eating whole foods? Are you adding in movement 5 minutes at a time? Nowhere do you have to spend hours in the gym to reach your goal of healthy. Your body needs to move. It needs that movement. But what it doesn't need is the added stress of hours in the gym when you already have so much going on. So it tracks the 5 minutes of movement and all of those key pieces to making sure that you are getting and building a simply healthy lifestyle. That tracker is there to do that. And then there's a way to track food. If you want to track your food, food needs to be consumed. I hate to tell you this. If you're trying to lose weight, you still have to eat. It's not like those things that you're trying to give up. So often people want to ditch all the food and only eat rabbit food, which is actually very tasty, but at the same time, if that's all you're living on and you're giving up all of those things that you love, like in my case, a Snickers bar or a smothered burrito, these are things that if I gave them up for life, I would still be on the roller coaster that I started at 9. I went on my very first diet at the age of 9. The doctor put me on 900 calories of powdered eggs, a salad, chicken, and very limited salad dressing and no cheese. And there was this list of foods that I was only allowed to eat. Well, when you live that way, and I did for 42 years, every time I wanted to lose weight, I would go back to that diet because, the doctor gave it to me. Of course, showing my age, that was in the 70s, and they've learned. Some of them have learned. But 900 calories for a 9-year-old is very ridiculous. 1,200 calories for a grown woman is not enough. In reality, we need more than that. We need the carbs, we need the protein, we need the fat. And that's what the tracker allows you to figure out. It actually has a place on the ones I created have a place on there to track whether your meal has protein, whether it has fats, and whether it has fiber, which fiber is a piece of carbs. But all of this becomes your reward system. It builds it in. It's how you create the simply healthy lifestyle by not taking everything away, but by focusing on the things that you can add to feel better, like, water, because nobody ever drinks enough water. Focusing on the things that you can do, which instead of focusing on, I can't go to the gym for 2 hours, how about focusing on, hey, I can walk for 5 minutes?
It's coming out tomorrow.
You can add stuff in and keep moving forward. You can print off trackers and keep them on your fridge, or if I had one client who refused to put anything on her fridge, so put it inside your cabinet door. Track what you're eating, track how you're feeling, track your mood, because mood will actually take us to that next spot of sabotage. So if we know where we're sabotaging, then guess what? We can actually take that knowledge and build a plan so that you're not sabotaging yourself. The whole process is building in that brain reward system. You want that system to work for you and create small, repeatable steps that will help you create good habits or get rid of, those quote unquote bad habits. It is totally possible to take you through this process and set you up for success to a simply healthy lifestyle. Thank you for taking the time to listen to all of the ramblings about building a simply healthy lifestyle by doing nothing but using a printable tracker. I love my printable trackers. They keep me on track. They give me a visual reminder and they make those happy chemicals fire in my brain. I like happy chemicals. So I want to thank you for your time today, and I'm going to send you off with love and hugs and the reminder that you can do anything for 5 minutes. If you like this video, please take a moment and subscribe down below or somewhere down here. All right. Bye bye.